Hello and welcome to the Malaysian Grand Prix here at the Sepang circuit, just outside of Kuala Lumpur. And it's a dry session for once in qualifying, and we are underway. Teddy De La Rosa doing a 134.4 at the moment. He's in front of Fisichella. The arrows of Heinzold Frentzen has popped into 5th place. Ralf Schumacher's joined him on the up there in 4th. Montoya is just at a 132.6. He's 1.1 seconds quicker than Alex Yoong already. So, and it's predicted dry as well for the race, so we might be heading for a boring race. But Yoong has managed to get back 0.097 behind. De La Rosa is 1.8 seconds behind though, so that's not looking good for a close fight at the front. Is going to be the front too, but Yoong has managed to improve. He's a 10th ahead of Montoya. Montoya didn't improve in that lap. Yoong's currently on pole position. Jensen Button in 3rd, De La Rosa in 4th, Fisichella 5th, Frentzen 6th. Barrichello's got himself in front of Schumacher, but Schumacher's managed to get back to 6th place with his 2nd lap. Montoya is 0.6 behind. No, 0.06 behind, sorry. Button's gone out again, but he's 1.9 seconds behind. Such a big gap between the top 2 and the rest of the field of 2 seconds. Especially in stark contrast to where the other 2 guys of that team are. Montoya's back out. Is Montoya going to improve? He did. He's improved back into pole position. De La Rosa's improved into 3rd. Can Alex Yoong do anything about that? He can. He's beaten him. He's 0.083 ahead and he's run out of laps. Frentzen's up into 8th place. Ralf Schumacher's come back out. Is Ralf going to improve his position? No, he isn't. So it's going to be Yoong on pole, Montoya 2nd, De La Rosa 3rd, Button 4th, Fisichella 5th. Is Verstappen going to improve? It's improved his last time, but not his position. Ralf Schumacher 7th, Frentzen 8th, Hill 9th, Panis 10th, Barrichello 11th, Schumacher 12th, Webber 13th. The rest of the field in a minute, I hope. Can Mr. Director please scroll down so we can see the thank you. Matsukane 14th, Coulthard 15th, Lacey 16th, Bertie 17th, Raikkonen 18th, Alonso 19th, and Takuma Sato's in 20th and 6 seconds behind his teammate. In his own race, Alex Yoong in the home race of Malaysia. It's a beautiful sunny day here in Malaysia with a helicopter going backwards. That's interesting. It's a very interesting backwards looking helicopter that was. And the famous backstride, the famous Singapore lotus flowered like things, the grandstand, and all the grid girls looking happy to be there. And we are ready for 5 lights, and we are away. And it's David Coulthard. He's just got a whack off of the Toyota of Alonso, but that looks like one of the McLarens. It'll be David Coulthard that has retired on the spot. Fisichella and Button, and Montoya's had a terrible start. Yoong is up into stays in the lead, but Montoya is nowhere to be seen. It's Fisichella's in 2nd place, Button 3rd, there's a McLaren in 4th of Verstappen. De La Rosa's in 5th, Montoya's down into 6th place already. That's quite remarkable. De La Rosa there, Montoya's 6th, Frentzen is in 7th place. Ralf Schumacher's also had a terrible start. Hill 8th, Panis 9th, Matsukane 10th, Michael Schumacher 11th. Ralf Schumacher is in 12th place. He's lost 5 positions from the start. Raikkonen, Webber are lazy, and then the bottom 3 of Bertie, Sato and Alonso. As Coulthard is going to be your own retirement at the moment, stalling on the grid. We'll see a replay of that big whack that he got off of Alonso. There's the big whack. Alonso looking to still be in the race. And that was the start. Now we shall step back and relax for 22 laps. This is going to be Montoya's terrible start. He just got bogged down. Oh no, he actually got a touch off of Button. So that explains 2 position losses. Verstappen just cleaned straight past him. De La Rosa just outbrakes Montoya. And Frentzen nearly had him as well, but that was Montoya's bad start. So Yoong leads already by nearly 3 seconds he leads by, which is quite remarkable. Round the hairpin, the slowest corner of the circuit that is. Fisichella in 2nd, Button 3rd. Verstappen is in 4th. He's 1.3 seconds behind at the moment. Yoong looks like he's flown away. He might he'll probably win this race now because Montoya is stuck in the middle of traffic at the moment. There is De La Rosa. Montoya is right behind him. Both De La Rosa and Montoya are out of position. According to the grid spot, behind Harold Frenson is currently in 7th at the moment in the arrows. Montoya had a little look down that inside. He's going down the inside of De La Rosa around the hairpin. Is Montoya going to make that move stick? Panis looks down the inside of Hill, but nothing doing there. Matsukane has pressure for Michael Schumacher. Also has pressure for Ralf Schumacher at the moment. Matsukane has actually had a fantastic start because he was actually quite low down. Montoya did get that position over De La Rosa. So Montoya has already climbed one position up to 5th place, but he's far, far away from Yoong at the moment. He's got Verstappen to clear, and he's got the 2 people in 4th and 3rd. Button, very notorious for being very hard to overtake. He's currently in 3rd. Fisichella's currently in 2nd, but Montoya has to clear the Dutchman of Verstappen in the McLaren before he can sort anything, then 2 out. It's a 22-lap race here around Sepang. Last year we had Montoya's gone completely wide. He's let the position back through to De La Rosa. What happened there? He just lost ground on that very fast corner. Looking down the inside of Verstappen or something, and he just went completely wide and lost the position to De La Rosa. I've never seen a car do that before. He's just caught both of them that curb and just took another couple of tenths off of De La Rosa. Montoya's just been absolutely scrappy these first 2 laps. It's a very Verstappen slowed down and it's just let De La Rosa go past. So Verstappen is actually out with what's probably a suspension failure. If he just stopped like that, he's just and pretty much lets Montoya through and Bertie's looking down the inside of Barrichello. That's going to be a fantastic move. If he pulls it off, which he does. Bertie ahead of Barrichello. Matsukane still in. There's both McLarens actually out of the race. Ralf Schumacher's up into 11th. He's 1 point late behind scoring points, which is desperate. The arrow point that boys desperately need, especially with the gaps that have developed now in the constructors. Button 3rd place. Jordan nearly leading the constructors title. It is still... Oh, that's a very wide line from Yoong. It is still, I believe, Jaguar leading. Or it might be Jordan leading at the moment. I'm not too sure. It's one of them 2 that are leading. Yoong has a 12.5, nearly 13-second lead already after 3 laps. He's nearly a pit stop ahead of the rest of the field. That is crazy. In fact, in pretty much 2 corners, he gained a second. That car is perfectly suited to Yoong, which is absolutely crazy. Down the front straight, Yoong is 14.5 seconds ahead of Fisichella. He's completely driven away from the rest of the field, and I don't think we're ever going to see him again. I hope you like your view of Yoong, because it's probably going to be the only time you see him at this race. Down towards the first corner there is Fisichella. Yoong with the fastest lap, of course, being 15 seconds ahead. Only your back marker can stop Yoong in his tracks, please do. Fisichella going down towards the first corner, 309 kilometers an hour before braking very hard into the first corner. Button's still in 3rd. And it sounds of it, Panis has stopped on the pitch straight with what looks like a suspension failure. It's another suspension failure. He only just managed to get onto the 4th lap. But he's your 3rd retirement of the race already. It has promoted Ralf Schumacher into the points. So 2 retirements already for 3 retirements for Verstappen. Panis both his suspension failures. Coulthard couldn't get off the grid. Barrichello 12th in the Ferrari. Ralf Schumacher's actually 11th. Ralf Schumacher's actually dropped out of the points because Bertie is just steamrolled through everyone in the Jaguar. It must be light on fuel. Round turn 5, Schumacher 9th. Matsukane is currently in 8th in the BAR. 7th is Damon Hill. 6th is Heinz-Harald Frentzen. There's quite a big gap now developing. Frenssen's actually got, I think, is Frentzen ahead of Hill? I'm not too sure. I think Frentzen might have been already ahead of Hill. But Frentzen looks like to be in the middle of nowhere. De La Rosa is looking to be in the middle of nowhere. Juan Pablo Montoya is catching up with Button rapidly. Looking to overtake Button and Fisichella. Young's pull up another fastest lap of the race. Is Montoya going to take a dive on Button? No, because Button looks to defend the line brilliantly on around that corner. Very awkward pit lane. We've got to watch out for that. We are doing 1 minute 30. Well, Montoya's done a 1:38.4, which I presume is still losing time to Yoong. I'm not sure what time Yoong are doing at the moment. But there's Montoya. But it took us a very wide line around turn 1. That might allow Montoya to, but it doesn't. Montoya could have gotten a good line out of that turn 1 and managed to get something round turn 2, sorry. Managed to get something at turn 4. Button takes an inside line around turn 5, but Montoya gets a huge amount of oversteer there and have to correct. The long turn 6 and turn 7. Montoya goes wide again around turn 7. Luckily, he doesn't let De La Rosa go past, but that's such a, he just took such a wide line. And loses time to Button. No wonder Button's not being passed by Montoya. Montoya's just making so many mistakes at the moment in the first 5 laps. And he was slightly fortunate with the Verstappen incident. This part of the track, there's no real overtaking. The corners are too fast. And then this is coming up to turn 14, back on towards Alex Yoong, who's going down the back straight already. They haven't even gone the pit straight. They haven't even gone onto the back straight. So another fastest lap for Alex Yoong. Turn 1 for Alex Yoong now. Maybe we'll get a tour of the Malaysian circuit from. No, we don't, because Fisichella. That's the gap. Fisichella has just gone past the final corner. He's about to pass the start finish straight now. The gap's a good 20-25 seconds already. Montoya looks to be making the move on Button for 3rd place. Is Montoya going to make those? No, he's going. Oh no, he looks like going behind, but he's now behind Button. He's going to take one down into 2-2, and that might be the reason why Bertie was doing so well. He had an imminent engine failure, and Bertie is now retired. Not sure where that is. It might be turns 12 and 13. But Bertie has retired from the race. So his magnificent drive on to 8 has been completely ruined by an engine failure. Now that puts that definitely puts. Montoya's just gone wide again. We just saw him go back onto the track. Montoya's going wide at every single corner. Frentzen is in 6th place. That is Mazzacane with a wheel off. And that is an Arrow's front wing. So I presume Ralf Schumacher has hit the back of him at some point. Michael Schumacher is there. Mazzacane is about to have an engine failure coming around this corner. There's the engine failure, and Ralf Schumacher just passed straight into the back of him. Ralf Schumacher's lost his front wing. That's going to damage the German's race completely. The current world champion. It looks like he's not going to be the world champion anymore because Ralf Schumacher is now the front wingless, and that's, like I said, ruined his race completely. He's probably not going to score points now. Weber goes down the inside of the German. He's got pretty much a whole lap to go through. A good minute of a lap to go through. Mark Webber in 12th, Elodie in 11th. Raikkonen's going to be in 10th of the points. So Sauber is currently in the points. No one's pitted yet. Now, I don't know. Schumacher might be able to do this on a one-stop now, but I'm not too sure. He might have to fuel save a little bit. 18 laps is a very tall order for the fuel to last around this track. He might have to do another very quick splash and dash at the end. De La Rosa in 5th place in the Jaguar. Montoya is still in behind Button, which is quite amazing, but now can Montoya do turn 7 right? He takes quite a wide line around turn 6, a wide line through turn 7. He did it right, he didn't go wide. Montoya looking slightly down the inside of Button, nothing happening there. Montoya's just gone wide again. He's taken every single wide corner imaginable. Montoya in 4th, going round the hairpin, 60 kilometers an hour. He still cannot overtake the Brit of Jenson Button. The classification. Yoong has already crossed the finish line, and we're still waiting for these to go down the back straight. That's how much of a lead he has. That's at least a 30-second lead over the rest of the field, which is quite frankly ridiculous in 7 laps. He easily might be able to get a pit stop ahead. Who knows? He might already be a pit stop ahead, to be honest. Montoya looking down the inside of Button. We're still waiting for these lot to cross the finish line to see what's the gap is between first and second place. The answer is 33 seconds. 33 seconds is quicker by nearly 5 seconds a lap over Fisichella. 5 seconds a lap nearly quicker. That's mad. Button currently in 3rd place, holding up Montoya's progress. Damon Hill's in 7th, Michael Schumacher 8th. He's 55 seconds behind Yoong. He's so close to being lapped already by the Malaysia. It's so ridiculous. Fisichella's in 2nd place in the Renault. He's nearly 40 seconds behind Yoong. Can someone please stop Yoong? Please. You might lap the whole field. He's going to lap the whole field at this rate. He's an absolute mad. He's on a Madden. He's on an absolute Madden. Alex Yoong is. He's going down the pit straight now. He's now got a 40-second lead, so he's easily going to have. He's easily been going 5 seconds a lap quicker. He's coming up to lapping his teammate Takuma Sato. We're already on lap 9, and he's already lapping people. The only time someone usually laps people this early is when they make a pit stop. Ralph Schumacher's made a pit stop. Not sure where he came out in relative to Sato. I'm presuming with how slow Sato is, he's probably way ahead. But look how much line he takes off that corner. This is the fast turn 6 in circuit. It takes turn 6 flat out. Turn 7 is just a small lift. Although Young has just gone slightly wide around that corner. It's a bit embarrassing. Takes a huge wide line around that corner. He's coming up to lap Sato. He's probably going to be in the back of Sato by the time he gets to this hairpin. Near enough, 80 kilometers an hour around that corner. Round the fast turn 10. Is he going to go down the inside of Sato? He's not actually. He's going down. He's going. Oh no, he did. Down the inside of Sato. That's how much of a speed gain he had. And the reason why Young is this quick is because Young is actually heading towards the pit lane. That Young is going to pit for his first pit stop. I'm not sure if it's going to be for a 2-stop or a 1-stop. We shall soon see with his pit time. He's going to be the awkward pit lane. It's halfway around this corner. It's a very blind pit entry. Halfway around the corner. They found it perfectly. And going down towards 80 kilometers an hour. There we are. Alex Yoong into the pits. Let's see how quick he can do this pit stop. Into his pit crew now. How long is his pit going to be? The fuel hose goes in. All 4 tyres have been changed. How much fuel is being put in? The answer is not enough for a 1 stop. So it's definitely 2 stopping, but he's pitted and he's still 14 seconds ahead of Fisichella in the Renault. He could easily lap the entire field with doing a 2-stop. Especially with how a lot of the teams will be going about their pit stops. It's a very impressive win if he gets a win with 2 stops. But he's that far ahead. He's made a 2-stop work a dream. De La Rosa currently in 5th place in the Jaguar. Frenson is still in 6th. All these are obviously going to be 1-stopping because that's the normal strategy these days, especially with the 180 litre fuel tanks, because of the slow pace because of the amount of time that you don't lose. Kimi Raikkonen's in 10th, a lazy 11th, still trying to find a way through Raikkonen. Is he going to make it? Nope. Webber is in 12th, Alonso in 13th, so Ralf Schumacher's behind Alonso at least. Ralf Schumacher needs to get into that 12th place. 10th place, sorry, to score points. There's Alonso. Takuma Sato is behind Alonso as well, so Ralf Schumacher's behind Sato. That's how much time he lost. He's 12 seconds behind Sato. That's how much time he lost losing that front wing because of Matsukane's engine failure. What lap times is he doing? He's doing a 1 minute 39. There's Matakane, there's Bertie, there's both BARs are out, both McLarens are out as well. There is Alex Yoong, your race leader. 15 seconds is the gap. He did a 2 minute lap, but he pitted, so you know. Coming up towards, there's slowly a train developing. Fisichella in second, Button third, Montoya fourth, Bertie in fifth. Not Bertie, De La Rosa in fifth place for the Jaguar. Round, turn 2, round the long, turn 3, turn 4 coming up. There's turn 5, takes a huge chunk of that off and has lost time to Button again. How much of a wide line is he taking around this corner? He's taking another wide line, but he doesn't actually go wide and let De La Rosa through. He's gone wide around that corner though. Keeps his foot in the pedal and he still manages to get out. That's luckily. Round the hairpin goes Montoya. That is turn 10. Turn 11 comes up. There's a very long turn 11. Turn 12, pretty much one apex. Turn 11, turn 12. Turn 13 is very quick. Turn 14 and 15 is another double apexed corner. Very difficult braking area around turn 15. One of the hardest braking areas on the calendar. Because you're turning as you're braking. Down this long back straight towards the pit lane. Turn 16 comes at you, very heavy braking, 100 km/h from Montoya, and that is a lap of the Malaysian circuit on board with championship leader Juan Pablo Montoya. De La Rosa in 5th place in the Jaguar. He is a second behind Montoya, who's still trying to pass Button, still cannot get past Button. We are over halfway through this race. Sauber is getting ready for a pit. We heard over the radio, so it's going to be for either Webber or Raikkonen. Round turn 3 goes De La Rosa, currently in 5th place, probably going to stay in 5th place. There's arrows of Heinz-Harald Frentzen, the only arrows in the points at the moment because of Ralf Schumacher, who hasn't had the best of seasons, being a defending champion. Arrows the arrows are replicating their first season, seem to always be in the mid-pack and always full of bad luck. Raikkonen heads into the pits. Straight through his pit crew, but no matter. Changing of all 4 tyres, fuel going in. He's going for the 1-stop. Yoong is the only one doing the 2-stop, and he's made it work in charm. Raikkonen has got Lonzo's gone past. Sorry, Sato won't go past. Raikkonen's going to keep hold of that position, and he's going to stay in He's going to be in 13th place. Sato's coming up quite quickly though. In fact, that is Yoong that's going behind. Yoong and Sato. So Yoong has overtaken Sato. And he's now got Raikkonen to contend with. There is Sato. Ralf Schumacher is catching up to Sato at quite the rate of knots. The lead is currently at 17 seconds between Yoong and Fisichella. So Yoong is not dropping them at the rate of knots he was dropping them at. That's more than likely because they're on a similar fuel load. But round turn 5 and 6 with your race leader Hill in 7th. Schumacher currently in 8th place. He's 40 seconds behind the race leader. 45 seconds behind the race leader is Rubens Barrichello. Fisichella is currently in 2nd place. He's going around to turn 5 and turn 6. Button we're on board with. We've still got Montoya for company. I think Fisichella, Butter, Montoya are all going to put on the same lap, which shall be very, very interesting. The pit window is open for all these lots, so they can all more than likely pit in the next 2 to 3 laps. Round turn 10, and the Toyota boys are getting ready for a pit stop. Not sure if it's going to be for Alonso or Montoya because neither of them have pitted, but if it's Montoya, it might cost them dearly because De La Rosa is very close to him. The overcut usually works better than the undercut. Montoya looking down the inside of Button. He's going to go into the pits, and so is Button. That's very interesting. So it's Button versus Montoya. It looks like there are Roses into the pits as well. Into the pits, Button goes. Montoya slowed down a little bit, and so did De La Rosa. The battle of the pit crew here. Who is going to come out on top? Ferrari ready in the pits for one of their drivers. Button has come out. Montoya is still having fuel pull in. De La Rosa is going to have to hold. His arrows are going into the pits as well, so that will be for Frentzen. And there goes Button's actually gained quite a bit of time. 2 seconds on Montoya. But all these are fuel till the end. So Montoya has to pass Button on track. Barrichello is in 5th place. Hill in 4th. So that means Frentzen hasn't pitted. So that Arrows team pit crew might have been for Ralf Schumacher then. Frentzen go around the hairpin, but he's getting ready for a pit stop. Fisichella isn't getting ready for a pit stop. Neither is Yoong, for obvious reasons. As Yoong is going to set a 1 minute 33.4. Ferrari are ready for the pits. Fisichella is in fact going into the pits. The Renault team is ready for him. Is he going to take to the pit lane? The answer is yes. Renault very late call to go into the pits. Fisichella only does 1 extra lap. Hopefully that outlap is a lot better than his other laps have been. Fisichella going into the pits is going to give Yoong quite the lead. Frentzen is going to jump into 2nd place temporarily. There goes Frentzen into 2nd place temporarily. Fisichella though coming out of the pits, 10.8. 2nd pit stop. Where is Button and Montoya? We can't even see them. There is Button. Fisichella's miles ahead of Button. 4 seconds is the gap between Fisichella and Button. The undercut has not paid up. The overcut has certainly worked, and Montoya has already caught the back of Button. That's how much of an advantage Montoya has over Button, but he just cannot overtake him. He's making too many unforced errors, is Montoya. Loads of pressure on the Colombian. He looks down on the inside, but he still cannot overtake the Brit. So De La Rosa is in 5th place. Minardi ready. Not sure which car it's for though. It could be for Sato. It could be for Yoong. Frentzen is in 6th place. Still holding on to 6th place. Hill in 7th. Michael Schumacher is in 8th. Barrichello in 9th. And I presume it is going to be... No, it's Webber that's holding on to the final point in 10th place for Sauber. Which is going to be a very rare point for Sauber this season. Alesi in 11th. Alonso in 12th. No, Ralf Schumacher is in 12th place. Look now. He's Ralf Schumacher's actually ahead of Raikkonen at some point. But I'm not sure if Ralf Schumacher can go to the end with his fuel load. That's because Sato is currently in the pits. Sato, the last placed driver. The car's just not suiting Sato at all. It's working beautifully for Alex Yoong, but very poorly for Takuma Sato, who was the car that was going down the inside. Oh, that was Fisichella. Fisichella nearly takes a swipe of Sato. There's the battle. Oh, Montoya's actually ahead of Button. Montoya's gotten ahead of Button. He's going to do it around turn 16. It's going to outbrake the Brits. Very, very good, clean move there for Montoya. And he's going to do... Oh, my Button's actually managed to get to the overspeed, pushing Montoya towards the edge of the track. But Montoya's going to is Montoya going to outbrake him around turn 1? The answer is yes. Montoya taking a very good, clean line, and Montoya is up into 3rd place. And now you can trace after Fisichella. Button's resistance has failed, and Button is now off of the podium. Now Montoya, let's see what you can do with clear air. Now, how much can he catch up to Fisichella in the next 7 laps. Looking up towards Sato, takes a very wide line. Is he going to go down the inside of Sato? There's someone that's retired from the race, not sure who that is. Down towards the hairpin buttons, gone past. De La Rosa is not going to get past. Might have been Yoong actually taking the fastest lap of the race, not with anyone retiring from the race. De La Rosa in 5th, Frentzen is in 6th, and actually catching up to De La Rosa a little bit. It might be an interesting battle occurring there between former rivals. We're on board with Button. Down the back straight. Montoya in 3rd in a Toyota, 2nd place. Fisichella, 2 seconds is the gap. He's already gained 2. He's already dropped Button by 2.5 seconds. And now Fisichella is Montoya's next target. Down towards the 1st corner, Minardi ready for the pit. That is going to be for Alex Yoong. He's doing his 2nd pit stop. His lead is 1 minute and 5 seconds. I've never known a lead be a minute. Yoong in the pits for his 2nd pit stop, his final pit stop. It's been quite the drive. One of the drives of the season, I must say. But Alex Yoong pits for the 2nd and final time. It's going to be a quick splash and dash. 5 laps of fuel only needed. So it's going to literally be a change of all 4 tyres and he'll be away, more than likely. What is his lead going to be after this? The fuel hose comes off, away he goes. And what is the gap? The gap is how close is Fisichella going to be to passing Yoong? The answer is 37 seconds. He only lost a modest, what, 25 seconds in that pit stop. It's fine. Fisichella, Montoya battling. Is Montoya going to put the pass on Fisichella? Going down turn 16, the answer is no. He's not going to make the pass work. Down the pitch straight. What? And the gap was 59 seconds. It's obviously not 59 seconds anymore because Yoong has made a pit stop. If it was still 59 seconds, I think people would have heart attacks. But currently, Fisichella, 2nd place, holding up. Montoya grabbing Renault 9 very valuable points. They're trying to catch up to Arrows in the fight for 5th place in the championship. Montoya just not going down the inside of Fisichella. Button is currently in 4th place in the Jordan. Pedro De La Rosa not troubling the Brit. Fenton has dropped off the pace a little bit. He's going to settle for 6th place. Hill 7th. With Takuma Sato right in front of him. Michael Schumacher is in 8th in the Ferrari. 9th is Barrichello. 10th is Mark Webber. He's 20 seconds behind. Alazi's currently in 11th place. He'll have Ralf Schumacher for company in a bit. 6 seconds back is the German. He has a 16-second lead over Raikkonen. I still don't think Ralf Schumacher is going to have enough fuel, but he has been lapped, so he might just have enough fuel. But he might be able to gap Raikkonen, so he might be able to keep hold of 12th place. Verstappen 19th, Coulthard 20th. There are all your retirements. Yoong currently leads the Minardi Grand Prix, Malaysian Grand Prix. Montoya tried going down the inside of Fisichella, but no sticking that move. Can Montoya outbrake Fisichella towards turn 1? He's not going to. Montoya keeps Fisichella honest, but Fisichella is still holding on to that 2nd place. That vital 2nd place for Renault. Be back-to-back 2nd places after their 2nd place in Suzuka. Round turn 5. Turn 6 and 7. Negotiated. Not well by Montoya. He's gone wide yet again. And he's gone wide in back-to-back corners as Montoya. He's just made too many mistakes. Way too many mistakes. Fisichella, they're both catching up to Alonso to put a lap on him. I think that's going to be the first lap they're going to put on Alonso. Especially because Yoong is only 40 seconds ahead of Fisichella. So it's actually only averaged up to about 2 seconds a lap that the gap is. And the fact that Montoya's qualifying pace was very, very quick compared to Yoong, because of the fact that Yoong was very, very light and Montoya is very, very heavy. But Young's fantastic start just helped him glide into the sunset. We had a whole lap's worth of Alonso, Montoya footage as he still tries to go past Fisichella. Is he going to go past him now? The answer is no, because he's still not close enough to Fisichella. Is Alonso going to help his teammate out here and hold up Fisichella? The answer is no. Fisichella goes past. Is Montoya going to go past? Indeed he is. And there's nothing Montoya can do to get past Alonso. But Button's still keeping him a little bit honest. Is Button going on the inside the button? Alonso, no. Now he's going to get past Alonso. De La Rosa going to get past Alonso, no. Both of them take a very wide line. De La Rosa is going to get slightly held up by Alonso, but round the outside should be fine. And De La Rosa, they all get past Alonso. This track is very easy for letting the back markers go through, unlike places like Hungary. Hill 7th, Michael Schumacher in 8th, and Romans Barrichello in 9th. Mark Webber quite far behind in 10th. Lazy is in 11th. Yoong has started his penultimate lap already. I'm not sure how much the gap is. The gap is 45, a very modest 45 seconds. Fisichella's going around the final corner, 46 seconds behind. Juan Pablo Montoya is in 3rd, so he's also 46 seconds behind. Is he going to be able to get a slipstream on Fisichella and pass the Italian going around turn 1? He's still the same distance away, so he's not going to. Been quite the journey for Montoya. He's managed to overtake Button after 16 laps, but just cannot overtake Fisichella to save his life. 4th place is Jenson Button in the Jordan. 5th place behind is De La Rosa. No retirement since Mazzagane. So very good reliability. Apart from the first couple of laps, a very good reliability from these guys. Teams working hard to make sure all their cars are all reliable. De La Rosa in 5th in the Jaguar. Round the 2 corners they go. Frenson is around 10 seconds above. Schumacher looks like he's caught up to the back of a lazy. Just saw there. Montoya takes the widest line possible around that corner. That's not going to help him overtake Fisichella. They're coming up towards lapping a Sauber, which I presume is Raikkonen. So can Raikkonen do anything to help Juan Pablo Montoya? Down towards the final corner for the penultimate time. Montoya has 2 laps. One more lap in fact to overtake Fisichella. Down towards turn 1. He is as close as ever. He pulls out of the slipstream. He's 2.2 seconds behind. Is Montoya going to make the move this lap? The answer is no. He's not close enough. He taps the back of Fisichella. Going to go around the outside of turn 2, but Fisichella's inside line and makes the move stick. Fisichella stays in 2nd place. Is they going to catch up to the back of Raikkonen? They're not, because of Montoya. Montoya has an engine failure on the final lap. Montoya, engine failure. That's an absolute disaster for Montoya. That has huge implications towards the title. Especially because Alex Yoong is going to win the Malaysian Grand Prix. What drama on the final lap. Yoong wins the Grand Prix. That's not the main story though, unfortunately. Fisichella no longer has pressure from the Toyota behind. So Fisichella's going to come in third. Button out of nowhere is going to come in third place. He's going to get that podium that he so desperately deserves because of the valiant effort he had in blocking Montoya. Unfortunately, the final gap, I think, is going to be about 50 seconds. Button's going to overtake Raikkonen. The gap is that much, I think I'm going to struggle to put the standings up before the leader. I think the standings will already be showing right now. So, you know, Fisichella's going to come over in second place. The gap was 49.7 seconds. Button finishes in third. De La Rosa finishes in fourth. It's going to be Frentzen finishing in fifth place in the Arrows. Sixth place will come to Damon Hill. Seventh place, Michael Schumacher. Eighth place is Rubens Barrichello. Montoya, out of all this, is going to come in ninth place because Webber's already finished and had a lap down on him. So Montoya's going to finish in ninth. So he's still going to pick up 2 championship points. But Webb's going to finish 10th as well, obviously, because we just saw the top 10. But we are now on board with your race winner, of which it is very, very convincingly by 46 seconds. So 49 seconds. It's the biggest gap we have seen in a very, very, very long time. Since De La Rosa won the Canadian Grand Prix by about a lap, I think it was. But anyway, your race winner is Alex Yoong by 49 seconds. It's to Giancarlo Fisichella. Button finishes in third place. 52 seconds is the final gap. De La Rosa was actually 6/10 behind him in the end. Heinz-Harald Frentzen finishes in 5th place in the hour. Is a good result for Frentzen. That will kickstart his season up again for the second half of the season. There's the rest of the field. We don't really need to worry about that because they're the non-scorers. But if you're interested in them, there you are. Hill finishes in 6th. With Young, he just beat the field. Got Grand Slam as well. Led every single lap from pole position and the fastest lap. Bob's your uncle. De La Rosa finishes in 4th. Frentzen in 5th. Damon Hill will finish in 6th. Finished in 6th place. Not will finish. He finished in 6th place. Michael Schumacher finishes in 7th. Rubens Barrichello 8th. Montoya, after all that, finishes in 9th place. Gets 2 points. The championship closes up. Mark Webber finishes in 10th. It'll be a lazy in 11th. Ralf Schumacher did finish in 12th place in the end. He finished in front of Kimi Raikkonen. Did he make a pit stop? He didn't actually make a pit stop. He didn't have to. Oh no, this is Ralf Schumacher. He did make a pit stop on the final lap. 1 minute 58 that was. Raikkonen finishing in 13th. Alonso finishes in 14th place. Your last driver to finish was Takuma Sato, who was quite far off the pace. And in your retirement are Matsukane, Panis, Verstappen and Coulthard. Thank you very much for watching. We shall see you for the Australian Grand Prix. Goodbye.